Hey, Jeannie Lynch. Today we're going to have some fun exploring and making sense of Zen Proverbs. So excited to share this today. So here we go. Finger pointing at the moon, chop wood, carry water, the sound of one hand clapping, the beginner's mind. And then when you realize that there is nothing lacking in the world, you actually have the world. These are just some of the proverbs we're going to be exploring today. And what is a proverb? Let me show you. A proverb is absolutely a short or a beautiful explanation to something that has a story behind it, that has teaching, wise wisdom. And this comes from Buddha and the Zen masters themselves. So today we're going to be exploring it, but also applying these to our modern life, right? Breaking them down and looking at them so we can use them in our own beautiful spiritual practice. Are you ready? Let's do this. It's coming up next. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in. We're going to dive right in. And the first one came from Buddha himself. And he said, I am the finger pointing at the moon. That's the actual expression. And what is Buddha saying here? To challenge the words, to not just take what he was attempting to teach or say and as the truth, that there are deeper truths to everything. And so we can take that in so many other aspects of our life when we watch social media, when we're listening to the news, fake news, I mean, on and on and on, that we should be exploring the words that are being said and then doing our own investigation. Don't you think that's so relevant to where we are in today's world? Also, though, a little bit deeper on the finger pointing at the moon, and that is be careful with your words, right? Realize that your words that you're saying and projecting out your intentions and, I hate this. I hate Taylor Swift, right? From Trump. Sorry, but let's call the spade a spade. That those types of words really do have an impact in the world. And that's the other side of that. So, words, the good, the bad, right? And also the effect that our words have, but also to challenge the words that are being said out there and not just take the word as truth. I love that. Okay, let's move on. Number two is my favorite. And the actual expression goes before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So, what is the Buddha saying here? And here it is. The story behind this is that when everybody was following Buddha and they're really just trying to do what Buddha was doing, seeing him as the leader of becoming enlightened, and he was, okay, but they were asking him, Buddha, what do we do to become enlightened? And he was just saying, do the things that you need to do every day to your practice, your meditation, your silence, follow the Four Noble Truths, right? The Eightfold Path, follow the teachings that were all set in place, but also to do it every day and all day. And then, of course, he became enlightened and they all stood around him and again and said, well, now what do we do that you're enlightened? Now, what's the course of action, Buddha? And he said, chop wood, carry water. So the actual explanation of this is also, and I'm going to pull up a slide so you can see it, that spiritual growth does not mean that you get to escape the everyday activities. So, chop wood, carry water literally means get up every day, get into your, and make sure you have a daily practice and practice at it. This is why we call it a meditation practice, why we call it a daily practice. We're never there. In fact, we know this in our healing too. And I've said this many times on my channel, the deeper we go, the deeper we can go and continue to go deep, right? So also exploring the truth. What is the actual truth? The truth can change. There's the truths out there, but your truth can change once you explore and dive to the deepest level as you can. So Mike and I say this every day too. We drink our water in the morning, we get our coffee, and in the morning the first thing that we both say is chop wood, carry water. And it just reminds us that we're starting another day, but we're starting it mindfully. I had never heard this one before, and I'm excited that it's made the list, right? Complicated Zen Proverbs. The sound of one hand clapping. Hmm. What do you think this means? So, before I give you the textbook definition, we'll stop for a second and just say, what do you think this means? And this is all about silence, and it's also about nothingness. And I love that because if you know anything about Buddhism, you study the not self and the nothingness that is out there, which is all about exactly where we are. Right? Which is we're always creating where we are. So, this invites you to explore the duality of life and the nature of our existence. Question everything and the assumptions that you have on your life. The answers are never always clear, and be okay with that. I love this. This comes from the Zen master. I will show you a picture of who said this. And he really is asking you to challenge everything about your life and explore the deepness, but also to be okay with the silence and the fact that we don't really know how things will end. So think about those times in your life where we just got hit with Hurricane Helene yesterday, right? There's a lot of people waking up who have lost everything. What next? It's asking us to look at those times and those situations from a different perspective, too, which is I don't know what's going to happen, but I must be okay with where I am today. So it's a lot of that. I call number 4 my favorite because I think it's just something that so many people who come to me are in the mindset of lack. So, they're lacking a plan, they're lacking the resources, they're lacking the understanding. I mean, there's so many things. They're lacking money. Okay. So they're in a financial situation. And I know that they're in those situations because of this beautiful saying, right? So the idea that there is nothing lacking in the world means that when we understand that there is no lack, then the world is our oyster, is really what this one is saying. And I truly believe that. I also think of the teachings of Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks. And here it is, another kind of saying in the same place. You're so free, you can choose bondage. I love that. It's saying that you have the choice to truly choose. But the mindset is there's no lack at all. Um, I'm flashing back to my own childhood. I moved out very young, 17, 18 years old. I'm in my first apartment, and my mom made the comment to me, "You have no idea how much food cost." Well, I was working for a grocery store. I knew that the beans were down aisle 3, and I could tell you that they were 99 cents, and I could tell you the 6 different kinds of beans. I thought I had a sense of how much beans cost. Okay, but I didn't know the value of the beans. And so it's literally that understanding. But I will tell you, when I moved in, my mom was projecting that I wasn't going to have enough money and then I had to work harder than I was getting paid for and the rest of it. But I learned early on for myself that I never lacked for anything, that I always had food. I always covered my rent. And I had to do those things to make sure that I landed there. But the mindset that I took on was that I was always going to be safe and have enough, actually, more than enough. And because of that, my life projected that. So it's that energy. Hopefully that makes sense. And lastly, for number 4, it really is all about being in the present moment, that the nirvana you're seeking is now, and fulfillment is just a state of mind. Let's move on to the last one, number 5. This actually came from another Zen master. Here he is right here. And I'll dive a little bit deeper into what he was saying here. And then don't forget, at the very end of all this, you're going to have to take a little test. So let's dive in. We're really going to end on a high note, and it is this Zen proverb. In the beginner's mind, there are so many possibilities, and in the expert mind, there is only a few. And I love this one because I think as a teacher, I think we're always trying to learn the most that we can learn so we can turn around and teach it. One of my favorite sayings is if you really want to learn something, to teach it. But I also love the idea that we're never done and that we're always learning. And I think once you're a teacher, you're always learning because I think those two kind of feed each other. My mentors, Joe and Patricia, come to mind too, right? They have been doing this work for 40 years. You know who they are. I help them in their YouTube channel as far as getting their content out there. And I call them my mentors because they have that mind that they're always teaching it for the very first time. And every time they explore it and they go to share it, they're sharing it for the beginner's mind. So the idea that when we think we know it, we might just tuck the book away and never look at it again and go, yeah, I know that. But how paradigmed we get in our thinking. This also showed up in my career, right? They used to bring in new people all the time to look at the same situation because they knew that the new people were going to look at it almost clearer than the people who had been looking at that same problem time and time again because we were rigid in our thinking. So, this really is about curiosity. It's about staying open. It's about seeing things always from the newest perspective and being open to the possibilities. I love this. Here's the textbook definition. This celebrates the openness and the curiosity. As we become proficient, we might also get locked in. So it's asking us to remind ourselves that sometimes we can become rigid in our thinking. Okay, there we go. These are the 5 making sense of these Zen proverbs. Did you enjoy this? Is there one that you heard today that you will put into your own life? Is there one that you just didn't connect to? Or did you love all of them? Let us know in a comment below. And as always, join the conversation. And if you want to test your listening skills today, I challenge you to stay listening because I put this in these questions into a fun little trivia pursuit game where you will be able to answer whether you were listening or not. And hopefully, this will commit to memory so you can apply these to your own life. This will go fast. Let's do it. It's quiz time. Here we go, right out of the gate. Finger pointing at the moon. Is it A, the importance of physical gestures in communication? Or B, the teachings are merely indicators of deeper truths? Or C, the literal act of pointing at celestial bodies? Or D, the need to focus solely on the words spoken? And the right answer is B, that teachings are merely indicators of deeper truths, and to uncover the truth, explore. The next one is chop wood, carry water. And here we go. Your choices are A, enlightenment changes the nature of every task. Enlightenment does not alter the fundamental task of life. That's B. Or C, only enlightened beings can perform mundane task? Or is it D, chopping wood and carrying water are unnecessary after you're enlightened? The right answer is enlightenment does not alter the fundamental task of everyday life. Question 3, the sound of one hand clapping, what does it mean? And here are your choices, A through D. A, the concept of sound and perception. B, the importance of teamwork. C, the need for silence and meditation. Or D, the existence of sound in nature. X gets a square. The right answer is A, the concept of sound and perception. Moving on. When you realize that nothing is lacking, the world belongs to you. Here are your choices for number 4. Happiness depends on external possessions. Or B, true fulfillment comes from within and appreciating the present. Or C, material wealth is the key to all happiness. Or D, realizing nothing is lacking that leads to complacency. And the right answer is B, true fulfillment comes from within and appreciating the present moment. And the last one is number 5. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert mind, there are only a few. Your choices are A, beginners are more skilled than experts. B, experts have more knowledge than beginners. Or is it C, beginners find it harder to learn new concept? Or lastly, is it D, openness and curiosity are more prevalent in beginners? And the right answer is, here we go, D, openness and curiosity are more prevalent in beginners. So please stay open. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a blast to put together and continue. Maybe you have a Zen proverb today that I would like to learn. Let's dive deeper in. If you want more of these videos, please stay connected and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications next time I put up a video. That is it for today. I will see you next video. This is Jamie Lynch signing off. Namaste.